Why do I wear fairy wings? I wear fairy wings because I hate culture. So far as I can tell, culture is usually stupid and distracting and pointless. It also evolves through similar blind Darwinian competitive processes as the ones that have brought us such lovely innovations as smallpox and pubic lice. I much prefer it when people think with their own individualistic minds and have firm reasons for all their behaviors rooted in logic or empathy or even personal passions, instincts, or whim. Because the advantage you and I as individuals have over our cultures is that you and I have brains and the capacity for empathy, and our cultures have neither. They just kind of form because they spread the best. I wear fairy wings because fuck it. I enjoy attention for odd behaviors, and nobody knows my identity, so there's no real reason not to seek that attention through odd behaviors. On a side note, in fifth grade, I shat on the sidewalk in front of the Lincoln Monument. There's a longer story behind that, but I don't want to get too far off topic. So here's what I see as the big sorts of issues, the ones our species would ideally be paying attention to, which instead we're mostly ignoring. There's an ever-increasing amount of space debris orbiting our Earth, and someday it will inevitably begin to collide in a chain reaction and render orbit uninhabitable by any human or machine for several decades afterward, unless someone finds a way to clean it up, which hasn't been accomplished yet, despite there having been at least one attempt. More important than that is the fact that the world is running out of fresh water. Desalinization technologies would be one option, but those are expensive, so that means lots of poor people may very well be screwed. Also, there's the fact that as time goes on, humanity will get better and better at genetic modification, and this will be a good thing, I think. That's going to be how we cure aging someday, presumably, and aging is the world's most destructive disease. It has a 100% mortality rate and causes lifelong periods of cellular decay. As far as I can tell, any risk would be worth getting rid of that, and I seriously doubt the reasoning capabilities of anyone who disagrees. However, it'll also become easier and easier for people to genetically engineer viruses. Will therefore require stronger and more regulatory central governments as time goes on, and we still have plenty of people who think that anarcho-capitalism governments are the way of the future. That is to say, governments without taxation. Sea life from all over the ocean has been found to have consumed plastic, and there's a giant island of garbage the size of Texas floating to the Pacific Ocean. Our species doesn't need global warming to do us in. We'll just keep expanding our needs for resources the more we get until they're all gone, until we find a way to drive ourselves into extinction if our current culture is to persist. So I want to get rid of our current culture and all the trivial distractions it contains. I don't just want more otherkin and cross-dressers and furries. I want everybody wandering around in lobster outfits for no apparent reason, and laying down to take naps on public restaurant tables, and muttering incoherently to themselves while wandering around in circles just for the hell of it. I want people shouting, "I am the Eggman," in the middle of crowded movie theaters like they have Tourette syndrome without actually having Tourette syndrome because they find it amusing. I want people having pride in the number of hemorrhoids they've managed to grow on their asses, because I can't get people to care about the earth more by trying to guilt people into it, because we're always going to care more about our families and our friends and ourselves than the earth, because that's just how we've evolved. But what I can do is push society get rid of pointless distractions so that if we ever get room in our brains to care about things beyond ourselves and our families and our friends, we'll be a little more likely to care about the future as opposed to those pointless distractions. And that's how I think our species will save the world eventually, by getting rid of culture and all its pressures, and instead having over 7 billion people driven by individualistic, creative, empathetic minds.